My name's John Watkins. I'm the CEO of Alzheimer's Australia in New South Wales. I love listening to Henry. He's always so calm and intelligent, and thank God we've got a man like him in the role that he's in. My job is really to say nice things about people and to welcome you here on behalf of Alzheimer's Australia. And just to say, I suppose, that our job is to advocate for the needs of Australians living with dementia and their families and their carers. The number today living with the disease is daunting. We've seen that. In the future, it's truly distressing to think 1 million Australians by mid-century. Behind each of those numbers are lives that are upended and relationships that are breached and families living under pressure. It is a terrible disease, and it's got an awful impact on lives. Repairing that damage and reducing its impact, providing for the needs of those carrying the burden, is a social justice and a human rights issue. It's an imperative for all of us and an unavoidable responsibility for government. We need more research, we need better public awareness, and we need more choice in high quality available services wherever people live, from diagnosis through to palliative care and death. And we need those things urgently, and we need to say these things again and again until those who have the capacity to make a change make that change. Our people can't wait. I'm very pleased that today we're hearing from 3 men who understand these issues from different perspectives. Harry Johns, Henry Brodati and Phil Hazell. Alzheimer's Australia is very pleased to be associated with this National Institute for Dementia Research event. We're inspired and we're invigorated by our guest speakers. In particular, we welcome Harry back to Australia and thank him for his determined advocacy for those living with dementia and their families and carers in the United States and on the world stage. We acknowledge his drive, his creativity and his heartfelt regard for those living with dementia. He's a tireless advocate, and on their behalf, we're very pleased to welcome him to our city and our nation. We also thank Professor Henry Brodati. He's an old friend of Alzheimer's Australia. In fact, he's our founding father. Without his support and guidance and sheer hard work, we would not be where we are, and nor would many people that he has treated over the years with compassion and effectiveness. He's a devoted, perceptive and determined advocate for better dementia care. We admire both of these men enormously, and we give thanks for their talent and their commitment. Today we're also very fortunate to be joined by one of our dementia advocates, Mr. Phil Hazell. Phil was diagnosed with younger onset dementia, Alzheimer's disease, at the age of 55, about 18 months ago. And like many of his age, he was still working. He had a business development manager for an optical laboratory. As you can understand, this was a devastating diagnosis and came out of the blue. However, with the support of his workplace, his family, his wife Jan, and his assistant's dog Sarah, who's joined us today, he continued to work until just last month when he retired. He's now eager to share his experience of dementia in order to help others by raising awareness and understanding of the disease. Phil has already helped us raise awareness through our advertising campaign to promote our helpline, our telephone help service. And he is a willing volunteer. He shared his story in a widely read article looking at the economic costs of dementia in the Sydney Morning Herald recently. Phil is a humble, thoughtful and generous man. We're very fortunate to have him with us here today. Please welcome Phil Hazell.
Yes, she is gorgeous, isn't she? Depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, and just feeling terrible was how I felt when I was first diagnosed with dementia. No, quiet. And it really was all too much to deal with. I felt like I was about 6 foot above the ground, running along and not getting any traction. And it took me about a week or two to finally look at the Alzheimer's New South Wales website. And what came up straight away at the top of the page was the helpline. Now, when I rang, I was teary, I was still angry, but there was a professional there that just listened. And I went on for about 40 minutes, exhausted after that, and that care worker was able to refer me to other attributes and services that Alzheimer's New South Wales offers. Without that, I would have still been a bumbling mess. But it's incredibly important, if you suffer from dementia, is to take hold of it. Don't let it take you somewhere. You take hold and you'll be a much happier person. So as I said, the Dementia Helpline helped me enormously. And also my key worker, Nicole Cree, would visit me at home, help me fill out the forms for a disability pension, talk about the NDIS, and help in many ways. It wasn't a problem for her to spend 2 hours sitting at the table with me, going through all the different areas where I could increase my quality of life. From my point of view, I guess staying fit is important, and having my assistance dog Sarah has made a wonderful difference to my life. Wherever I go, whether I get lost, I'm confused, I can give her a big cuddle, or if I lose my phone or my keys or my wallet, first thing in the morning, she goes and finds them for me. If she can't pick them up, she'll sit and just look up and I know where it is on the bench or something like that. Some mornings I can find all my bits and pieces, but Sarah's sitting there going, "Come on, Dad, hide one for me so I can go and find it." So she does. So continuing my independence is through support from family, friends and employer. I had a wonderful employer. And right now I'm enjoying my independence through advocating for the support services. Now, I mentioned Sarah, and one of the speakers also mentioned staying fit. Well, doing 3 or 4 walks a day with my dog certainly helps to keep me fit. And it's been a 2-year process, or 18-month process, I'm sorry, to train her and have her as my mate 24 hours a day. In fact, if I've had a bad day, she sleeps around my head on the pillow, and which is terrific when I'm facing the left-hand side, but when I roll over, I've just got this tummy straight in my face. It's a bit difficult to breathe. But to finish up, it's incredibly important that you use the support services of Alzheimer's New South Wales. Without those support services, I wouldn't be where I am today. My self-esteem would be still low. I'd be anxious, I'd be depressed, and not a happy chappy. So please use their services. Thank you, everyone. Sarah.